Hi everyone, this is Tabatha and this is part 2 of our home layout. So on part 1 we learnt how to back our cut file 3 different ways. So now you should have your backed cut file ready to go. We're going to add a little bit of ruffled lace to this one. We're going to pop it underneath a cut file so our cut file is kind of sitting on it. And I've got the Farmhouse Market wood grain behind this one. But the beauty of these is that you can flip it over if you're looking for something a little bit more feminine, and you've got this lovely green on the other side, which makes a beautiful layout as well. But I'm going to go with the wood because my photos are quite dark. So I'm going to use these 2 photos. These are pretty vintage photos of me and my sisters when we were young. So the 3 of us together. So this layout, once we get the base done, the 2 photos will go up the top. So I'm using a 3.5 by 3.5 inch photo simply because that was the height of these when they were printed. But you can do the template here. You can do a 4x4 and a 4x4, which suits pretty well up the top. You can also do a 6x4. We're going to tuck it under, so a big 6x4 at the top will work as well. And if you've got, even if you've got a 5x7, that will work as well up the top. So if you've got a nice big picture of your home or your family or something like that, that will work too. So for this layout, I'm going to go with the 2. And I've got this idea that I want to use my pink doily. So the pink doily comes in the kit. This is pretty cool. I'm going to use it as kind of like a base behind my photos. So we're going to put this. So as part of this stage 2, I'm going to put these 3 items on my page. Now you can see over the side here, I like to have all my bits around me. I've done a little bit of fussy cutting of the florals, the bigger ones and the little ones, because I'm not sure what I'm going to use yet. And I've also got my chipboard here, and I've got all my stickers sitting up the top in front of me so I can see them as I work. But for this stage 2, what we're going to do is we're going to put the home and the doily and the little bit of ruffle down. Now you can definitely go straight flat with the home, but for this one I'm going to use some bits of cardboard. So these are just bits of cardboard from a box that I got, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to raise my home by sticking these on the back. So then this will give me a little bit of depth, a little bit of height to my home, which will mean that once it's down, it's going to sit up on top of that lace a little bit more, and it'll be sitting up on top of my photos a little bit more. So it really becomes the feature of your page. So I'm going to do that now. I've probably I did cut these to fit in, but because I want to tuck things under my home and I want to tuck my photos under, what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to cut these a little bit thinner. So I'm going to go thinner again, and then a little bit shorter. So something like that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a few of those to go right along my home layout. Now I'm not used to doing these sort of more 3D ones. I'm a very traditional scrapbooker. All my scrapbook layouts usually go into an album, so I don't go too 3D, but just to make this wording pop a little bit more, I thought it'd be nice because it's going on top of the ruffled ribbon. And you can just work out your heights as you're going along. Maybe I'll put a couple this way in front of the E instead of the other way. So I could probably keep some of these little bits that have flown off. Maybe. And then with the home, I'm just going to put a couple of shorter ones on each side. Not sure if I'm going to tuck in the middle yet. We'll just have to wait and see what when I get to the embellishment stage, what I like. So it's all about the creative process. So that looks good to me. So it's got quite a few bits. I could put another little bit in here just to keep the top of the M up. But I know I'm going to be tucking under, so I don't want to clog it up too much. Now I'm going to use some thin tape. I think this is 5mm double-sided tape. So I'm going to use this to put it together. Let's see if I can find the edge. It just tears off, so you can just pop it on, roll it along, tear it off. You could also use craft glue. I just find double-sided tape's a lot easier. I think I'm just used to using it on my flat layouts. So, and it fits nicely along these cardboard strips. So I'm happy about that. The other beauty of doing it this way is, one, if you've stuck it down and you want to pick it back up again, once you've glued it, you can't really do that. With double-sided tape, it's got a little bit of leeway, and it does let you pick it back up. So now I'm just going to peel the backs off those and pop them on. I've got a big bin here at the side, a big basket actually. So I can't miss it, although sometimes I do miss it. It looks like I'm just throwing things on the floor, I know, but there is something there to catch it all. Now if you haven't got fingernails, I've got little fingernails, but if you've got no fingernails, you can use a scalpel to pull these up. I do have a scalpel running around somewhere because I would like to have a scalpel handy. So scalpel, just picking up the edge and pulling it off. This is quite good when you get into a rhythm. Bit of fun. Now if I was a smart person, I would have probably put the tape on the other side at the same time. But because this is the first time I'm doing this video for you, I've completely forgotten to do that. So now we're going to go and put the double-sided tape on the other side. I'm going to use my handy dandy scissors for this now, because it's a bit hard to tear it off when you're down low here. Okay, here we are, ready to go. Now what I am going to do is I'm going to put my lace down first, because I want this to sit on top of my lace. and I want my lace to sit within the bounds of the home. So I don't want it to go off the edge of the page. So I want it to sit just underneath. So I'm going to do a little bit of measuring with my handy dandy ruler. So we've got about 4 centimeters on that side, and we've got a little bit more than 4 on that side. So I'll just move that in a bit. So if we've got 30 centimeters, halfway is 15. And then I'm going to measure. What we want to do is see where my pictures sort of are going to go and how much space my doily is going to take up. And make sure my home is down low enough to let that give me some room at the top. So I think I'll line the E up with that line. So if I measure up maybe a centimetre, if this is a centimetre into the home, it's 7 centimetres up. Okay, and then I'm going to go 15 centimetres across. So let's go 7 centimetres up, about there, and 15 centimetres across, which is going to be midway. So that's my midway point. Fabulous. So my lace is going to line up on that line. And then I'm going to measure how long this is. So it's about just 23 centimeters, or actually 9 inches perfectly, I'd say. 9 inches, yep. So 9 inches, so that's 4.5. So 4.5. So my lace should start around here and finish at 9, about here. Okay, so if we get the home, that's starting there and finishing there. So a smidge in from that point. All right. So I'm going to fold my edges over because I don't really want that rough edge to show. So I'm going to fold them in. Where's my little dot? There's my starting dot, and there is my finishing dot. Bit hard to see on the wood. And that's where we're going to glue our lace. So if you wanted to make it a little bit easier, you could get, let me see, a scrap of paper. I'm sure I've got a million scraps. And pop it in here and glue that down first onto the scrap. Actually, I think I might just do that. Let's just get a little bit of this. And that way it's folded already. Folded back to the point where you want it. Get my craft glue. I'm using Super Tack glue, dries clear, grabs extra fast, it says. So once you get to this point, so I'm going to put my little bit of paper on there, and then a little bit more glue on the other side, and then fold it over. And if you're on the dot, oh, this dot is crazy, there it is. Right, so that's that side, and now this side, my dot's about there. Oops, I'm going to put a little bit of glue on. A little bit of paper so I know where to fold. Glue back on top and fold him over. Okay, lovely. So then I'm going to put, I know my dot's here, this is my middle point, this is my other dot. So I'm just going to go and put my glue along the edge of the ruffle. Probably a bit too much glue. I need one of those fine point ones, don't I? Okay, you can pick it up by the ruffle, swing it over, watch where your dots are, and down she goes. Lovely. All right, my little ruffle is on. Then I know my home is going to sit over the top of that ruffle on its backing. And then I want to put my doily underneath. So you can choose to have your doily point with a row up. I'm going to choose to have my doily point with the rose and the dip going to the point. So again, if you want to be super duper accurate, you can just measure where your middle point is, put a little pencil line, and that will kind of gauge where you want to go, and think about how far down you want to go. Like I want mine fairly close to the top, so that looks pretty good to me. So about an inch, as long as it's in the middle. So just move this out of the way. So I'm going to go rose and about there. Now next to me, this blue mat is my messy mat. So this is just a plastic cutting board, one of those really thin ones. And I like to use this as my messy mat. Now there's two ways to put a doily on. You can use spray glue. Have I got any? Yes. This is what I use, just Bond. Fast drying, dries clear, high strength. You can use that, or you can use, which is my Zig two-way glue, which I can go around and get all the little bits. If you're using the Spray Fix glue, you can spray it in a box, in a pizza box or something like that. Don't spray it on your workspace because it goes everywhere. So that's just a bit messy for me. So I'm going to use this, my Zig two-way glue. So I'm just going to come over here and I just sort of paint along the edges. And I just get the bigger bits of the roses. It's pretty good, this stuff. And then I just do a couple of stripes through the middle. You don't have to do it everywhere. It's as long as the edges are sort of done, and it's kind of, we're going to go over the top and glue things on top of it and stuff. So because it's on the base, it doesn't have to be super glued. All right, so my dip around there, I can see my pencil line, so that's around about the middle. If you've got a little ripped bit, this is the perfect time to make sure the ripped bit is going to go underneath your other pictures, and then just smooth her out. So these don't need a lot of glue to go down, they just need a little bit. All right, so that's all on. So now what I want to do is I want to put my home on. Well, actually I don't, because I really need to position my photos first. So I said I was doing 3.5 by 3.5 photos. And so what I'm going to do is I cut 2 3¼ inch squares to go behind them. So I want a little bit of that white border to be around my photo. So we're going to go, that's the photo, and it's going to tuck in underneath. So as you can see, it's tucking in a fair way under that home word. So we don't want to stick it down just yet until we've sort of positioned our photos. That looks pretty good. Okay, so that's where we're up to with round 2. We've got the basics down. So what I'm going to do is, shall I use my photos? Yes. So I'm going to probably put my photos on, because I like to work with photos. I don't like to work where I can't see where I'm embellishing or where I'm going to put things. Where you tuck things and stuff makes a big difference. So I'm going to put my photos on my back, and then we'll come back and do round 3.